Is Lucas Giolito solidifying himself as the Boston Red Sox number 2 starter?
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I'm here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part, it's free. So make sure you tune in because Locked On is here for you every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Hello. Happy Wednesday. The Red Sox picked up yet another win last night against the Baltimore Orioles, this time in 5-0 fashion. What an absolute dominant performance by Lucas Giolito on the mound. Going to be talking all about his start on today's show, as well as is David Hamilton getting hot and why the Red Sox could still win their division. But Lucas Giolito, you hear that name and you think, what's an addition to this Boston Red Sox team? Coming into that signing, when the Red Sox first announced that they were bringing him to Boston, there was a lot of risk and a lot of questions surrounding his ability to perform at a high level. He had missed a lot of time due to injury, and he missed the entirety of the first season the Red Sox had him due to injury. So the question was, can he perform at a high level when he comes back? So he started the season injured this year, but came back partway through the season and has overall been very solid for this Red Sox team. Over his last few starts, he's been a little off and on. He's kind of alternated between a good start and then a bad start. And last night he started, and it happened to be not just a good start, but a completely dominant start. I just wish he was a little bit more consistent and didn't fall back into bad habits over his last few starts. But last night's start was his best one in a Red Sox uniform. 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. He threw 104 pitches, 69 of those going for strikes with a 3.47 ERA. He hadn't walked anybody all the way up until very late in the outing when he walked 1 batter. He did face some traffic and pressure in a couple of the late innings, but he was able to work his way out of them. And that was miraculous to see. It led to the Orioles leaving 7 men on base and going 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. He took care of business. He is in a spot to where that's got to feel really good. He's got to go to sleep last night knowing I dominated out there. And when you have a pitcher who has that good of a start, it's hard not to feel confident moving forward. And Lucas Giolito is a very confident guy overall. I've spoken with him, and he talks a lot about what he has to do in terms of his arsenal, what could be better, what he does very well. So he carries himself with a lot of confidence, but he's also very humble and recognizes when there's something he needs to work on in his game. And he knows that throughout the course of this season, there were certain things that weren't working well for him. And with his arsenal, he had to adjust a couple of things, really make sure that he's honing in on utilizing his changeup and making sure that that pitch is fine-tuned, because that is a pitch that can be very strong for him. Now, late in the start last night, it was pretty noticeable that he was starting to get tired when he was throwing that pitch in particular because of his release point. His release point with that pitch was a lot lower in the later innings than it was in the earlier innings, indicating that he was getting tired throwing that pitch. So I said, all right, he should probably move away from throwing that pitch a little bit if he's getting tired throwing it, but he was able to get himself through 8 very strong innings. And I don't know that he's looked that confident really ever. And he actually, ironically, threw a no-hitter in his career 5 years ago to the day yesterday. So yesterday marked the 5-year anniversary of that no-hitter. So he was going out there trying to throw a no-hitter again, but he knows that's incredibly difficult. It wasn't very much shy of that, though, based on how well this performance was for him. And how exactly did he do it? Because obviously, like I said, there's been a lot of off and on going on when it comes to Giolito and his ability. But after a game on Monday in which the Red Sox had a bullpen game, Brennan Bernardino opening, Richard Fitz coming in, getting hurt, having to be pulled a little bit earlier than the Red Sox were hoping for, they were really in need for a lengthy start from Lucas Giolito, especially because they're in the midst of a 14 games in 14 days stretch. So it's really important that they are able to rest relievers when they can. And Lucas Giolito absolutely delivered, firing 8 shutout innings. Why? His command was unbelievable. He really filled up the strike zone with his fastball for a 70% strike rate in this game. He also did hit the inside edge against left-handed hitters with his four-seam consistently, and his changeup returned 18% swinging strikes as it stayed low and on the arm side, while his slider was on the glove side for a 14% swinging strike rate. His slider is also a very good pitch. If he's utilizing the slider and the changeup consistently, it's very difficult for opposing hitters not to want to chase those pitches. The fastball command he mentioned was a focus for him all week. He said getting the fastball, working it up in the zone, getting it into the lefties again. I've been kind of staying away from that. We were able to do that for the most part. When I did miss, we were able to throw good pitches off of that. Credit to Carlos Narvaez for keeping his ear to the ground and knowing what's up. He was also very efficient. He recorded 5 one-pitch outs in the outing. And also, he got through the first 3 innings with just 30 pitches, using almost exclusively his fastball to do so, which allowed him to feature other offerings in his second and third trips to keep hitters at bay. Because if you're showing off your complete arsenal early, it's a lot more likely that by the third time that hitters see you, they will have figured it out and pitchers start to struggle at that point. But because he didn't open up his off-speed stuff until later in the outing and focus on using primarily just the fastball early on, it allowed him to go much deeper into the game. With the lead at 2 in the 6th inning, he did run into some trouble. The Red Sox started to get Justin Wilson warming up, but Giolito was able to escape the jam. With his pitch count still below 80, he was able to go back out for the 7th inning and ended up retiring the side then on 4 pitches. So based on how the 6th inning had concluded, if he really struggled in that inning, they might not have brought him back out there for the 7th. But because he was able to cut down the Orioles and not allow damage in that inning, he was able to then pitch through 8 innings. And with the 7th inning being as quick as it was, that also helped him to get another inning out of it. In the 8th, he recorded 2 quick outs before walking Jackson Holliday on 4 pitches. That was the one walk that he issued in the game. Jeremiah Jackson then fouled off 5 straight pitches in a full count before Giolito pulled the string with a changeup, catching him off balance and punctuating the outing with strikeout number 8. And he was ecstatic with the fact that he was able to get through the 8th inning, because after he walked Jackson Holliday and then ended up loading the count on Jeremiah Jackson, then there was a little bit worrisome of, is he going to be able to get through this inning, or are they going to have to put in Justin Wilson before the inning is over? Alex Cora really wanted him to get through the inning, and he was able to do so. And he talked about how excited he was, and he said Jackson kept fouling off heaters. I wasn't confident I could execute a slider there well. It had been kind of spinning out on me the last couple of innings, so I was like, let me just go to the bread and butter and try and throw a good changeup down in the zone, and we were able to do that. The Red Sox rotation had been in flux with the demotion of Walker Buehler to the bullpen, and Richard Fitz was a candidate to take the 5th spot in the rotation, but he ended up going on the injured list following his outing on Monday. And Giolito helped steady the ship now with Brayan Bello and Garrett Crochet scheduled to start in the next couple games of this series. So this was a huge outing to set the Red Sox up well for the rest of this series, especially because the bullpen should be nice and rested now. Alex Cora said, excellent. Fastball command was on point. The off-speed stuff was great, under control. We were a reliever short in the bullpen, and he gave us more than enough. So this was a huge game for Lucas Giolito. And the thing is, it really makes you wonder, is he solidifying himself as the number 2 starter behind Garrett Crochet? Because when you think about where the Red Sox are at right now and their rotation going into a playoff series, obviously Garrett Crochet is going to be number 1. He is the ace of this pitching staff. There's no denying that. If you have somebody go out there to throw game 1 of a playoff series, no doubt it's going to be Crochet. But there is a little bit of a debate over who number 2 should be. Should it be Lucas Giolito or should it be Brayan Bello? Because Brayan Bello has pitched very well for the Red Sox all season and had a very incredibly dominant outing against the Yankees, a very similar type of outing to what we saw from Giolito last night. And Lucas Giolito has had some inconsistencies and has had some outings in which he's run into trouble. So that is a risk if you want Lucas Giolito to be the number 2 starter, is what if he goes out there and has an outing like one of the bad ones? Because we have seen him really struggle. For example, his start prior to this one, when he pitched against the Yankees, he only threw 4 2/3 innings and gave up 3 earned runs. So what version of him would we get? The plus side to him is he has playoff experience, and it's really hard to know who's going to be able to perform under the pressure in the playoffs. So that could be a benefit to having Giolito as a number 2 starter, as knowing you have a starter behind Crochet who does have that experience in the postseason. So would you trust Giolito more so than Bello? I would say not at the moment. I would put Brayan Bello still as the number 2. But if Giolito continues to pitch like this, no doubt he'll be the number 2 starter in no time. And coming up, a surprising player who has contributed a lot to the Red Sox over the last couple series is he's starting to get hot. If you ever are looking to score last-minute tickets, whether it be to a sporting event, comedy show, you name it, Game Time 100% is the place for you. And my favorite thing about Game Time is it guarantees lower prices than other ticketing vendors, and it shows you your view from your seat so that you don't have to worry about having obstructed views. And that's why it's literally the only ticketing site that I use now. Fees are also included, so you can know your total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. You will not want to miss out on using Game Time. I know live events are expensive. Another thing you should take advantage of is FanDuel, because the NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel because it allows you to make so much money betting on so many different types of sports. And if you don't follow a lot of sports, that's fine, because it'll help guide you with the best bets to make so you can win a lot of money quickly with this app. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. What are you waiting for? Go into it right now and start placing those bets and winning lots of money. The Boston Red Sox are coming off another good win against the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 5-0 last night. And Lucas Giolito was obviously the biggest storyline of that game, absolutely dominating through 8 innings. And then Justin Wilson came in to pitch the 9th, giving up 2 hits and no runs with 2 strikeouts as well. He threw just 17 pitches with 12 of those going for strikes. He's down to a 2.70 ERA on the season. Wilson has certainly been one of the more reliable relievers for the Red Sox this year, which is why he's been used in high leverage. And it's just been huge because in a game like last night, the Red Sox really needed length from their starter, and they got just that and more from Lucas Giolito. So now the Red Sox will have a nice little advantage going into the rest of this series because their relievers are nice and rested moving forward. So that's the biggest storyline from last night's game. But another player who stood out in last night's game, who may be coming as of late, is David Hamilton. He hit a home run in the game, and he also had another hit in the game and ended up driving in 3 runs. His second hit was a little bit fluky. It ended up going down as a double, but what really happened was the Orioles fielder missed it. It was a fly out to shallow left field, and the Orioles player could not make the play and basically just missed it. I don't know if he didn't see the ball or what was going on there, but he just couldn't make a play that should have been made. So ultimately it went for 2 bases for David Hamilton and it scored 2 runs. So he drove in 3 runs in this game. His batting average is now 197 with a 253 on base percentage and 320 slugging. Obviously, he has been struggling a lot at the plate. There's no doubt about the fact that his offense is a very weak aspect of his game. And this is a guy who really needed a game like he had last night. And you could argue that his second hit could have gone as an error, in which case then it wouldn't have been a hit for him and he wouldn't have gotten as much credit. But he did smoke that home run too. And this isn't the first game as of late that he's been playing very well, because even over the weekend against the Yankees, he actually played in the Saturday game and went 3 for 5 in that game, recording 3 hits and scoring 2 runs in that game with 2 strikeouts. So he has bumped his average up from a 193 to a 197. So that was another good game that David Hamilton had that was recent. And he is 6 for 15 with 3 extra base hits since getting called back up, which is a 400 batting average on this road trip, which includes in New York and in Baltimore. He's 6 for 15 with a triple and a homer. So it makes you wonder, is David Hamilton heating up? Possibly. I wouldn't weigh it too much. And here's the thing, because we've seen instances from David Hamilton where he does go a few games where it feels like he's starting to figure things out and people start to get really excited about him. And it's nice when he's playing well like that and you can be excited about him. But the problem is that it doesn't usually last very long. It only lasts a little bit of time normally. And I hope that this time is different. And maybe this is a huge turning point for him. Maybe he's starting to make some adjustments at the plate, and maybe going back down to AAA benefited him a lot more this time. And he was able to figure out a little bit more of, okay, what am I exactly doing that I could do better next time? And what is it that's causing me problems at the plate right now? So maybe he figured things out. I somehow feel like not. I just feel like he's going to dip back down into reality. A couple good games at the plate doesn't necessarily mean he's back. And back to what extent? Because was he ever really fully here? I will say, though, the thing about David Hamilton is that he provides so much value in other ways, particularly with his speed. He's one of the fastest players in Major League Baseball, and he has been able to run out infield hits to actually make them a hit when other players would probably be thrown out at first base on the same play, just because of the fact that he is speedy. So he can provide that value on the base paths for this Red Sox team, putting instant pressure on opposing pitchers because of the fact that they know if he gets on base, he is a threat to steal. Now, the if he gets on base part is where we find some trouble with him right now, because he has so much trouble making good contact and getting himself on base. So if he were to get on base a little bit more, then we would start to see a lot more of that speed on display. He's useful as a pinch runner right now because of the fact that he's a speedster and the Red Sox will likely continue to use him in that capacity, even if he doesn't get everyday playing time, which he won't. I mean, the Red Sox have Rob Refsnyder, who's expected to come back either today or tomorrow. They also have Wilyer Abreu, who's on his way back. So those two players are going to take up spots in the lineup more regularly. So it's likely that David Hamilton will not be seeing as much regular playing time as he is right now. But when teams can expand their rosters for the playoffs, which hopefully the Red Sox do make the playoffs, then he definitely is somebody who will be on that because they're going to want his speed on the roster as a pinch hitter. So that's something that David Hamilton provides and not everybody provides. And that's why if he can get his offense to match up even a little bit, then he could get himself placed into an argument of we don't really want to move him at any point because he's just too valuable to our team. The problem right now is that, yes, he has plus speed, but because of the fact that his offense has not been very good and his defense has also been not the best overall either, that's why it's hard to justify to some people keeping him around because he doesn't exactly provide the type of value that everybody wants him to provide. But if he can start to put himself in a better position offensively overall, then people would be a lot more welcoming to the idea of him being here on a more regular basis. So it was very good to be able to see him have a game that he was truly the standout and the highlight offensively. They also got a home run from Trevor Story in this game too. So the Red Sox showed off the strong power that they have in this game and their capability of hitting balls over the fence because the Red Sox offense as a whole isn't necessarily known for being a team that can hit a lot of home runs. You look at a team like the Yankees where they score a lot of their runs on home runs and that's how they end up winning a lot of the time. The Red Sox are just not like that. And they find other ways to win games by playing small ball sometimes, although they've been playing a lot more small ball as of late. They weren't really doing that as much early on in the season. Swinging for contact and trying to just put the ball in play rather than always trying to hit home runs. And that's how the Red Sox end up winning games a lot. But this game last night was a good game in which they were able to showcase that power. I don't have high expectations for David Hamilton moving forward because he's just so inconsistent and consistently looks kind of lost at the plate. So this could have just been a very good game for him. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong because if David Hamilton and another player who could fall into this category is Connor Wong, if those two start playing a lot better, then it's basically game over for everybody else because you feel like you have guys, unfortunately, in this lineup who are automatic outs, or at least you feel like they are. Connor Wong is one of those. David Hamilton is certainly another one of those. So when you have those types of players in the lineup, it's hard to feel confident in them coming through, especially in high leverage situations when the Red Sox have runners in scoring position and they need somebody to come up to the plate and drive them in. It's very difficult to feel confident in that being David Hamilton or Connor Wong, but both as of very recently have been swinging pretty good bats. So if they can keep that up and get hot, it's going to be unbelievably difficult for opposing pitchers to navigate pitching to anybody in the Red Sox lineup because if I'm an opposing pitcher and the Red Sox weakest hitters are figuring things out, then I don't want to have anything to do with that lineup. So I like some aspects of David Hamilton's game. Will this type of offensive performance be more consistent from him? I'm not seeing it. He's shown a ton of inconsistency over the course of his career. I hope that I'm wrong, but as of right now, I would not be surprised if he dips back into old habits and this just happened to be a very strong game for him. But nevertheless, very strong game and he deserves the credit where it's due. And that's 100% what happened last night, which was awesome and helped lead the Red Sox to a win. Coming up, though, speaking of wins, could the Red Sox still win the AL East? I'm going to be discussing that next. Hey, Locked On Red Sox fans. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Isn't that a great deal? I mean, I'm telling you, it truly is too good to be true, but it's actually not because it's legitimate. While you're doing that, I also have a request from you. Locked On actually wants to hear from you. We've essentially put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for helping out the network. We want to hear from you. We want to make this the best experience possible listening to our podcast. So make sure that you go and do the survey today. While the Red Sox look to prep for the postseason and they look to clinch a playoff spot, they need to just continue to win games and win series, especially. And they are focusing 100% on doing just that. And while they're focusing on winning games and winning series, do they have a chance to win their division still? 100% yes, they do. Right now, where things currently stand, the Red Sox are 4 games behind the Blue Jays with 29 games left to play. The Blue Jays sit at 77-56, with the Red Sox at 73-60. Also have to look out for the Yankees, who are just a half game behind the Red Sox at 72-60, but the Red Sox hold the tiebreaker against them because they won the season series. So the Red Sox right now are inching closer and closer to Toronto, who lost last night when the Red Sox won for once, because honestly, it kept feeling like whenever the Red Sox won, the Blue Jays would always win too. But last night, things finally did go the Red Sox way when it comes to the Blue Jays and praying for them to lose. They took a 7-5 loss against the Twins. Now, when you look at the wild card standings, the Red Sox are in the first wild card spot right now, with the Yankees right behind, and then the Mariners in the third wild card spot, who are 71-62, while the Red Sox are 73-60. So while they obviously need to focus on making sure they earn a playoff spot, they could still eye the division. They have 29 games to go. And with where things are right now, the Red Sox upcoming schedule is winnable. After they finish this 4-game series against the Orioles, they head back home for 3 games against the Pirates. That 100% is a winnable series, and one they quite frankly should win. Then they face the Guardians at home after that. That could be a tough series. I mean, the Guardians are flirting with being a playoff team as well, but again, should be a winnable series. And then they travel to the Diamondbacks and Athletics, again, 2 teams that they should be able to beat before they face the Yankees at home, who they just dominated at Yankee Stadium. So my point is, over these next couple weeks, the Red Sox are facing some very beatable opponents, and they have to be able to take advantage of their schedule if they want to be able to overtake the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays schedule coming up, they are wrapping up a series today against the Twins, and then they are off Thursday. But over the weekend, they start a series against the Brewers, the team with the best record in Major League Baseball that has been playing unreal right now. And Nobody's really talking about the Brewers because they've just been so sneaky, but they are 83-50 right now. The next best team in the National League Central is the Cubs, who are 76-56. So they're 6.5 games back. So they're really not even that close. The Brewers have been having a very silently strong season. So that's going to be a tough competitor for the Blue Jays. So this upcoming series alone, when the Red Sox go home and they face the Pirates and the Blue Jays go and they face the Brewers, that's a great time for the Red Sox to gain ground on Toronto. Hopefully the Red Sox can win their series and hopefully the Brewers can go and actually give the Blue Jays trouble. That alone is even the start of my point, because the strength of schedule for both of these teams. Yes, the Red Sox don't have the easiest schedule moving forward, but they can gain some serious momentum by beating up on teams that are far less superior to them and be able to take advantage of that to catch up, because it's possible that after this upcoming weekend, the Red Sox have passed Toronto. So definitely don't give up on the Red Sox winning their division yet. They do need to take care of business and win these games. Ideally, they would win the next 2 against Baltimore, but even if they don't, and they win 1 more and they take 3 of 4, focus on winning series and they can pass Toronto. The other thing about the Toronto Blue Jays is that, yes, they're playing very good baseball, but we have seen many seasons over the last few years in which they were inconsistent, did not really play good baseball, and underachieved for the roster that they have. Right now, they're obviously not underachieving. They're playing at the level people have thought that they had been going to be playing at all over the last few years based on the talent that they have on their roster. Now they're playing like that, but who's to say they won't fall back again and start to struggle? You don't really know. Based on Toronto's pattern, we can't rule that possibility out of them not having a good last month of the season and kind of falling back a little bit. So the division is definitely still attainable. The biggest goal needs to just be make the playoffs no matter what. But if you can still be aiming for winning the division, focus on that. 4 games out with 29 to go is not impossible. Yes, it may not happen, but it's not like they're 15 games out with 29 to go. It's not like they're even 7 or 8 games out with 29 to go. 4 games is not insurmountable, especially with the schedules that these teams have upcoming. Have to capitalize, have to take advantage, and have to win the rest of this week, at least win the majority of the rest of their games they're playing this week. So we'll have to see how the division standings turn out, but I really appreciate you tuning into Locked On Red Sox and making it your first listen of every single day. And it's now another big moment here on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. Hopefully this will get you really excited about college football. I personally am so excited that it's back, and hopefully you are too. So make sure you check that out during college football season after you finish Locked On Red Sox, of course. And like I always say, though, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I'll catch you on the flip side.